Jaya, individually, I mean, we all want to live in. What we have done is we have converted all the zones into sector one. You know, uh, so that what's a connection to individually, if you may look at the galaxy, how we can, if you are not an architect, and you are not and I am not, how can we connect with the galaxy? How do you personally connect with it? And and also, what is your the other day we were having a discussion on beauty, so if you may also bring that aspect, that how important is beauty, pursuit of perfection while we build the city.
Yeah. I will take it from a kind of different angle, and you know my pushing for these things. Mother says that Auroville is situated in India because India holds all the problems of the world now. And I have felt these last months we have been dreaming the wrong dream in Auroville, totally off chart. Because we have kept dreaming a dream, which is actually the old paradigm. I want a space, I want a big space, I want greenery around, okay? And we have put that into the ecological frame as the ideal. That is exactly what I had in the 60s, the green wave, we call it in Sweden, the velour generation, sort of. You can do that in countries like Sweden or Canada. There's loads of space, no? But in countries like India, I read a newspaper every day. What is the situation with elephants? What is the situations with the tigers? Whichever animals you take, okay? We human beings are the most invasive species. We go everywhere. We talk about fish that somebody has brought. We talk about the plants, and we are very excited about this because it's so terrible. We are the most invasive species. Auroville in the galaxy actually seems to me today, as I study it more and more deeply, to actually show us a way that we have to go and live very dense, because we can do that with beauty. We have the capacity for it. I'm not talking about what is happening in the cities now. Auroville has the capacity. Rocher has given us the gifts. Mother has chosen him. When you look at the galaxy development, you see the pressure of the change, and that pressure can only come from her. You see the three main stages, and when you look at the drawings, because there are lots of drawings, you see that there is something which is pressing from inside. If you've been working with artists and something in yourself, you know how that feeling is, even in other fields of work. So it is clear. She is moving the human consciousness towards something, and it gets more and more specific. And you can see that it never finishes in those other places, but here in the galaxy, it completes. So, in the galaxy, we have this great density. It has high rise. We take, for example, Line of Goodwill, that I myself have been one of the people working a lot on, seeing that the extreme potential it has. It's a hillscape, so you don't have this insulation. And how do we create villages? Because we create alienation, whether we build row houses or individual houses or high rise. All the time we create alienation. If we want to have the change of consciousness in the collective, we have to do something else. So if you keep on building the way we are doing in Auroville, I'm very sorry, there is nothing environmentally sound about that. Because it's dreaming an old dream that we all need a place which doesn't touch. It's actually the insulation in bigger and bigger fields, no? And if we keep having that dream, it means that all the ones behind us have the same dream. Okay, so every person in poverty will dream about something bigger, about that beautiful garden, about this. And in India, if we do this, we are continuously moving the landmarks, no? And somehow with the galaxy, you have all the greeneries, you have all the access, but we have to build differently. I talk a lot about these spaces that you create: private space, semi-private space, collective space, and public space. How do you do that?
With beauty.
In the horizontal and in the vertical. And we have the capacity because we are the most invasive, but we are the most adaptable. Animals cannot adapt. They have I always forget that word. They have the size that they need. elephants need, when you press the corridors, you have all the violence which comes, the animals get upset, they get stressed, all these things. So you need to leave space. We are the stewards of the earth. We have been given this consciousness, which is amazing, and we can appreciate all what is around us. If we are the stewards, we have to take care of everything. It's an integral approach, no? It's not about it's so much deeper, and it's about containment a lot. How do we contain? How do we contain energy? How do we contain ourselves? In a way, with the beauty, because the beauty carries it. You see, even when Mother speaks about you, she gives the garden of power, okay? The kind of, the quality from which the garden of power comes is the quality of generosity. It can dissolve, and it is very, very contagious. Okay? And then in this garden of power, what is the flower that she puts there? Specifically, aesthetical power. Beauty has that transformative capacity. And I think we work with it in all these places, and it's like I work with Unity Pavilion, no? And where in anywhere, and especially in India where we are, can you find a place which has that level of beauty, art, etc., which is for everybody? When we build line of force here, line of goodwill, we can do it because if you do it outside, either you find very rich people who can do it, okay? Or you do it as a social project for very poor people, which means you have cheap, cheap, and poor, poor, okay? So we can actually we can do something which has relevance in the cities, in India for sure, and over the world, no? And it was interesting when once I was showing this exhibition in the Whitehall, and the spontaneous, I think it was to CPWD, was this has relevance for India. This has relevance. And I think it absolutely has relevance in the context of shift of consciousness. That's why the two things are together. It's not one dream and one building, no.